For almost 10 years, millions of people tuned in to HBO to learn about the fate of the inhabitants of the Seven Kingdoms on Game of Thrones. The popular series, based on the books by George R.R. Martin, was not only one of the most recognized titles of the last decade, it was also one of television's most loved projects by audiences, to the point of awakening the passions of millions of people around the world. But how much is known about the fantasy series? Here are a couple of little-known facts about Game of Thrones. HBO rejected the first pilot of the series. Although today it is one of their most successful original series, HBO executives were not so convinced to approve the first season of Game of Thrones. In fact, the original pilot of the series had to be reshot by 90% before getting the green light from the network. Ramin Djawadi composed the famous theme of the series in his car. The epic theme for Game of Thrones came to its composer, Ramin Djawadi, as he drove from his home to the studio. Djawadi had just seen some of the show's early visual sketches when he began humming the song that would become the theme for the show. The brilliance of the German musician not only gave him 5 Emmy Awards, but it also made him the author of one of the most important theme songs in modern television. Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn were a couple before appearing on the series. Did you ever realize that Cersei Lannister and Bronn never shared a scene even though the series repeatedly mentioned that these characters had interacted at some point? This has a good explanation because the contract of its interpreters, Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn, prohibited the producers from having them appear together on stage or even cross paths on set. The reason? Lena and Jerome had been dating before being hired for the series. However, their relationship had ended so badly that keeping them apart became a contractual obligation for their employers. Curiously, the actress also had a previous relationship with another one of the leading men in Game of Thrones, Peter Dinklage. Dinklage and Headey met during the filming of the movie Ultra in 2006, and they had been good friends ever since. In fact, it was Peter who recommended his friend to play the Queen Cersei. George R.R. Martin promised to write an episode for each season of Game of Thrones, and did not deliver. The original author of the literary saga on which Game of Thrones was based, George R.R. Martin, made a commitment to fans and producers to write an episode for each season of the series. However, he only kept his promise until season 4. Then he said he had to stop to focus on writing the 6th book in the series, The Winds of Winter. To date, almost 7 years after the broadcast of the last episode written by Martin, the book has not been published. Many actors were considered to star in the series. We cannot deny that the cast of Game of Thrones is almost perfect, but to reach their full complement, those responsible for the series shuffled the names of many actors. For example, the famous British actor Tom Hollander was considered to play Littlefinger. Sam Claflin auditioned to play Jon Snow and Viserys Targaryen. And Elizabeth Olsen was about to give life to Daenerys Targaryen. Brian Cox, Mahershala Ali, Charlie Hunnam, and Millie Bobby Brown were also among the producers' proposals.